So attacking the Water Baroness.
Well met.
I must thank you for this masterpiece of destruction you created, for the opportunity of teaching the true path. You are now more than a Blackguard, but the Storm Prophet. You are now the hand of Talos on Farron. There is no doubt now that Torthur was right to choose you. More than ever, I think he couldn't have chosen a better one. It has been a great honor. The honor was mine. I thank you for this sweet revenge. The dreams of destruction have come true, but, like I promised you, I made sure that the Water Baroness remained untouched. Behind me is the Water Baroness's hall, home of the Water Barons since the first days of Yartar. She is there, locked inside, waiting for us to decide what to do with her. I thought you would want to go alone and complete your revenge. Excellent work. Her time has come. Chief, what do we do with prisoners? I think it should be your call, Almighty Storm Prophet. You can play with them for today. Tomorrow you ignite them all. Yes, Chief. Shield Soldiers, Paladins, Belithi Keldorna. Impossible. Looks like a typical Paladin, except ridiculously overpowered. Spell resistance too, that's a nasty thing. Right. Are you using them as warm-up or what? Well, whatever. I think I'll start with one of their summons. Although I think this is a warm-up. She's gonna summon some kind of additional forces. Or the doors will open and there's gonna be a pouring of additional forces.
For justice and honor!
Still, this is gonna be very painful if I don't do something. Last chance to use confusion, I think.
Evil shall never triumph!
Come on, hopefully I can at least kill the paladin while they're confused. Come on, come on.
Stay still, villain! you villain!
Come on, come on. Pain reflection. Alright. Now the warm-up is over.
Greetings and well met.
Before you stands your worst enemy, the one you killed over and over again in your dreams for the last few years. The last time you saw her was at the execution of your brother. She then seemed to be a proud person who thought she had saved her people. She doesn't seem so proud today. You can easily see her face that she's been totally overwhelmed by the recent events, and after seeing the destruction of her own city and slaughtered her people, you feel that you simply broke her. Having gained so much experience in the field of fear, you clearly see it in her eyes, even though she's trying as hard as she can to hide it. After having dispatched her guards easily and walking close to her, you realize that she understood not only what, but who you are. So what now, Blackguard? Before I take your life, know that I ordered my orcs to burn the remaining survivors alive. You monster! Unfortunately for you, the whole place is warded. You should have known that. The statues have protected the water barons since the first days of Yarjar. No one can kill me inside these walls. At the same time, you hear the spirits of destruction bound to your armor whisper, "The statues, the statues." I have no doubt you are powerful, and that your hatred of me is also very powerful. I wish there was another way, but you made the mistake to come in here alone. Statues, the statues. So what? There's 10 statues, and then what? I'm gonna try with poisons immediately. She probably is immune to them. No, not at all. We have nothing to lose by basically trying to just stick this shit to everything. 32. She's not that good. I mean, she's good. She can hit me without too much fuss, but she's not that good. It's nothing amazing. I sort of still feel something's about to happen. We try the phylactery. I would think the F-read might be more effective. The Celestial Guardian. It's a hostile. Yep. Yeah, debuffs. What are we looking at? Level 20 Elemental, Lawful Evil, 42 Armor Class, 270. It's... what exactly is it? Is it a caster or a fighter or what? You cannot damage the target with the currently equipped weapon. Right. Okay, the statues are being destroyed. I just can't target them. Is this me buying time then? Right, we're gonna have to kill 10 Celestial Guardians. I'm not too worried. They're much weaker than the Planetars, for example. The F3 wasn't all that useful. Let's try this. I actually want to save the demon until we have all the Celestial Guardians in the battlefield. Yeah, they're not that tough for me to take on anyway. I don't need the demon here.
Fear the justice to come!
Where exactly is my strength gone again? Nowhere, because I took away the fucking belt. That's why it's not at the normal levels. It's about to do something else. Yeah, I don't see any of these being useful here, so maybe the anti-planetar version would be better. Or anti-outsider. We can switch it out once the Celestial Guardians are taken care of. Right, still two more. Once those are done, then I'll summon the demon here, the phylactery demon. Currently, we're just playing a waiting game. Yeah, one more.
I bring judgment!
Sure you would. I'm sure you do.
Your taste shall be cleansed.
And it's separated from us a little bit. So it has time to do whatever it wants to do. Level 18 outsider, so it's actually fairly good fighter. Nothing amazing, but at the same time I'm taking all the heat from these guys.
Taste shall be cleansed.
Confusion gaze. One celestial guardian gets confused. And And the ancient whatchamacallit is basically dead because it wanted to attack the one fucking guy. Yeah, what a wordless piece of shit again. The AI absolutely wasted that. Like it does with everything else. I'm not sure what exactly was I expecting out of it, but that's 50,000 wasted basically on totally rubbish.
You cannot.
Okay. Let's try a bit more aggressive stance for a full moment. Swordsman's spell is basically keeping us alive here. Okay, don't attack her. Kill the guardians. Let's do guardians. What? The guardians just keep popping up for no particular reason. I thought they were attached to the pillars, but apparently no. Okay. Okay, fine, fine. Letting throw success. This would have been a small chance that it gets applied. Only a very small. Right, is there anything I can do? Go to defensive mode first. Right. So it seems like there's gonna be celestial guardians, about 4 of them, no matter what we do. And that's pretty much it. Right. Which means I might as well go directly after it, kick her ass properly. I'm buffing up a little bit.
Rotation.
Might as well add Blister too. Also Sonic Shield. Right, so that's pretty much do it. Then we'll go full on with the Water Baroness. She's gonna heal a few times at least. Won't make a difference.
This cannot be. This evil cannot win.
Okay, you say so. But it seems like we didn't win anything yet. So I can't do anything. Hahaha, you're making it all the sweeter. Dude, you're not here to just toy with her, you're just here to kill her. I have nothing left. Seems like that could have been a warm-up still.
Oh Lord of Justice, hear my call, please. The chanting chain is, please answer me. This evil we cannot allow. Please answer me. Will you not answer my call?
No, he won't. The fool acted against me already and failed.
This cannot be. Oh dear, give me the means to punish this evil Blackguard. No!
It is over now. You failed. Are you ready now for your final punishment?
Yeah!
Oh,
You had it coming, bitch. No one will stand in our path. All shall fall before you. The fury of the Evermores is greater than ever. All the cities of the north shall submit or be destroyed. Now behold our champion, the mighty Storm Prophet. How does it feel? Good. Very good. Somewhere on Pandemonium. Tothur, what a pleasant surprise. I must congratulate you for your work. The chanting chain is unleashed and you played your part very well. After your failure, I didn't expect much of you. I've never believed in that boy you chose to be your successor. I'm glad I was wrong. You served me well. You recovered the chanting chain and ashamed Tyr and Timora at the same time. Thank you, Master. Well, Shera here has spoken highly of your chosen one.
Truly, it was beautiful to watch him in action. Anger like I've rarely seen in a mortal man. Fargrak trained him very well.
Thank you, dear Valshera. Yes, in time Fargrak will be rewarded. He too served me well. But one question remains. Yes, my master. How did you unleash all this hatred in his heart? I used his brother. I walked into his dreams and slowly drove him completely mad. Through his dreams, I forced him to kill many innocent people. After some time, he got caught by the guards of the altar. Everything proceeded according to my plan, and they executed him in front of the whole mob of the altar. That unlocked the hatred I needed to make him their true instrument of destruction. I see. Very clever. Well done.
Yay. What to say about that? There's nothing particularly wrong about the story. However, the story isn't particularly satisfying. I think there's problem with how the story is told. So, while again there's nothing particularly wrong with it, it should have gone in a different way. I suppose in some ways this story should have been begun at the point where the brother was still alive and you basically have some kind of even minor interactions with it. It doesn't have to be a game, it can be one of those cutscenes. Basically that's the point where it should have started to be built, so you at least have some kind of a image of what the brother was, something, anything. That's how it should have been built. Dreams will work just fine. No, especially the start of the game is jarring in a way because you have this cartoonish villain, but you don't have any idea really understanding of why he's that way. So you sort of have the thought in your mind: is the guy who's making the module, does he want to take this shit seriously or not? And I'm still not quite sure at that point. Is he serious or not? I do have to say that the module changes flavor. I think in many ways the first part is the weakest. Then I think things get improved a little bit, and the third one feels very different in many parts. There's still it's still clearly the same part of the same series. It's not drastically different in that sense, but it felt more like a typical adventure. And even though I started with complaining about this module, how stories could have been stronger, and I feel there's an excessive amount of fighting, and it suffers from the similar problem with the too epicness of this, but it shows us the other end of the spectrum of that problem. There's basically two ways. The problem really is that it's really hard to balance. So two things will happen: either it's very easy that you can just walk through everything, or everything is epic and it feels just silly at that point. I mean, common citizens have such drastic attack bonus amounts that you would struggle to find more than a handful of people in the entire world like this that have such capabilities. And every random citizen and comer in the city had them. I understand why it's chosen to be like that, because you want to avoid exactly the problem that you can walk through everything. And from the start, this module maker has made the choice that he wants the fights to be, I think, interesting and challenging. And I feel that that's the strongest part of this module. Especially some of the boss fights have been great, honestly great. They're complex enough and some trickery to them to not make them too simple. And I think the best phase might have been the middle module in that sense, where there was proper boss fights instead of these massive free-for-alls where it's okay as long as you just survive. But I get that there's some effort of putting some kind of a point to them, but I feel they would have been better if you would actually have had some sort of a party of your own. It doesn't have to be a henchman party, it could have been a sort of a war party you lead. Anything. Instead of just random orcs here and there. It's a large battle, but it still feels, because you're on your own all the time there. So it doesn't have quite that feel. You're not really in command of anything. You're just like a solo adventurer while the fight happens in the background. But I do have to say, there's clear effort put into them. There's some tactical situations built in some of those maps. Choices on which targets you go after can change the flow of the larger fight between the orcs and the guards. So it's not like it's some kind of horrible piece of shit that you have to just struggle through. It has some okay ideas and even okay implementation of those ideas. So I suppose I would consider all that to be moving in a positive direction. I still feel that everyone's too good. That's the problem. I don't think this works well as a module if you don't know how to build your character, unless you have some kind of specific plan. Or you don't have to be the world's best character builder by any means, but this is not a module where you can afford to make too many costly mistakes in character development. It won't forgive you. The opponents are built very well, so unless you have ways to counter them, either absurdly high armor class or you know how to kill people, you've equipped yourself to those purposes too very well, you're gonna be just, they're gonna walk all over you. And I don't know how some kind of a rogue or spellcasting flavored Blackguard could do very well in this game. I don't know. Actually, I think part of that hesitation is because a couple of the recent modules I've played in Neverwinter Nights have been very strong story modules, and I mean top of the line that the game ever produced, top of the line stories. So comparing this to, let's say, Neverwinter Nights, normal campaign, Shadows Undertide, Hordes of Underdark, I think the battles in general and combat system is better than any of the official campaigns offer at any point. The story doesn't really. I think the story is still better than what's in Neverwinter Nights. I'm not sure about Under Tide. It's well enough told, so it's at least comparable. Yeah, I would hesitate to say it's drastically weaker than any of these. And combat wise it's better than any of them. So it's, while it has its problem, it's still fairly good and solid enough. I suppose big problem might be too that it's clearly done by someone whose first language is not English, and it shows. Sometimes the words are written wrong, how people speak is sort of a little bit clunky and the like, and that if you're really into the role playing and immersion and the story, that might sort of take you out of it, because it really would have benefited from someone whose primary language is English to basically read through it and rewrite it. It's easy enough to see where the writer wants to take, but just fix the obvious mistakes and maybe awkward sayings that he's using that don't quite work. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good module overall, and you end up at epic levels. Well, epic level. So not much of an epic character, but still. But story-wise, there's definitely better ones. Combat-wise, yeah, that too. However, I would still say this is probably one of the better ones combat-wise. A little bit too much of relies on massive groups of enemies at the beginning and at the end, but the combat challenges are there that are hardly paralleled by or comparable in any other module. However, it's too much fighting, pointless fighting, like the 20-40 rats at the start of the module. I mean, the worst kind of adventuring you can imagine. But it got better. I feel in that sense it mirrors the Neverwinter Nights original campaign. It has a very rare thing to do that's entirely evil for the storyline. It proves as it goes along. I feel the story at least, and how the areas are formed, how the encounters happen, what type of fighting happens, that improves over the modules, as in general at least. Similar to in the Neverwinter Nights original campaign. The first chapter is the weakest of it, and it gets stronger by the end. I wouldn't still say it's a great module, but it improves, and it's still a good solid